The Westwood Expedition. The Westwood Expedition goes to the ghost house. I am James. I moved to Westwood yesterday. I'm the troubleshooter in my house. I solve everything in my house. My dad's a cop. When he can't solve the case, he finds me right away. James, I don't know where my car key is, Dad said. It's under the table, I told him. Both my parents depend on me. They can never live without me in this house. Let me introduce my new friends I made yesterday. My friend Todd, he's a toad. He has big eyes. The first night I moved in, I met him in my bed. He likes to sleep in my bed. What he's good at is a staring contest. He had never lost a staring contest. The other one is Jessie. Jessie has brown hair and brown eyes. She is very timid, but she enjoys adventures. We both like an apple pie. It's like a fate. Jessie came to see me this morning. James, we're going on an adventure, Jessie said. She showed me a compass and a broken leash. Big Mouth hasn't been home for 2 days, said Jessie. Who is Big Mouth? I said. My dog, Monica, said she saw Big Mouth 2 days ago, Jessie said. Monica is Jessie's cousin. Tell me about Big Mouth. Is Big Mouth a big dog? I said. Very big, and he has a very big mouth, Jessie said. Jessie showed me a picture of Big Mouth. I saw a big dog with white fur. The Big Mouth went into the North Forest. There's Cole's mansion. It's where ghosts live, Jessie said. Ghosts, a little short, chubby thing, I said. No, that's a fairy or my uncle, Jessie said. A ghost is terrible. It's scary, I said. No, they like to play tricks. Monica knows a lot about ghosts. Let's ask her, Jessie said. Jessie and I walked to Monica's house. Monica had blonde hair and blue eyes, and she was wearing big, round, yellow glasses. She was wearing a yellow hat and yellow dress. I'm James, I said. We're looking for Big Mouth, Jessie said. I know, 2 days ago, I saw Big Mouth go into the North Forest, but there was another dog, Monica said. Another dog, said Jessie. Yes, it's a black dog, dark chocolate color, Monica said. Jessie said he went to the haunted house, I said. The ghost isn't necessarily scary. Find my scarf and I'll help you, Monica said. Of course, Jessie and I spoke at the same time. The couch is white. The shelves are white. The table is white, too. The woman in the frame was also wearing a white dress. There were cat footprints on the floor. Do you have a cat? I said. Yes. Its name is Roxy. She is white like cotton candy, and she likes a red scarf, said Monica. I followed the footprints, past the living room, past the kitchen. I went into the basement. The basement had cat footprints all over it. Everyone followed the footprints together. The footprints went out through a small side door between the boxes. The footprints outside led to a very large tree in the garden. There's a scarf hanging on the branches of the tree, Jessie shouted. It's too high to reach. Monica jumped and jumped, but it wasn't a chance. I didn't see Roxy, but I imagined him climbing a tree. Did you say Roxy loves red scarves? I said. Yes, she likes it very much. I have to find the scarf every time I want to use, Monica said. I looked around. I found a long stick. I found a long string, and I also found a cotton candy like Roxy. I hung Roxy safely at the end of a long stick. If Roxy likes a red scarf, I'm sure she'll catch it, I said. We carefully lifted the stick. When Roxy saw the red scarf, she held it with paws. We all cheered. I have to make some arrangements to get to Cole's mansion, Monica said. Everything needed perfect preparation. 3 chocolate candies, 2 slices of apple pie, a small flashlight, and 1 hazelnut. I think 2 apple pies are too small for dinner, I said. We're not going to have dinner. We're going on an adventure to find Big Mouth, said Jessie. Keep going. I'm sorry, apple pies are not for you. Ghosts like apple pies, Monica said. Do ghosts eat apple pies? I asked. Yes, they do very much, but they don't like to bite hazelnuts. They think the house is falling down. When we leave home, we have to bite the hazelnut. Don't be disappointed. You can have the chocolate candy, Monica said. We headed for Cole's mansion in the North Forest. I saw a very tall tree. I saw a lot of tall trees, too. I also saw forest animals hiding from us, and we saw an old and big mansion. It was like a big crocodile with big mouth open. I looked at Jessie. Jessie yelled by herself. I'm not scared, Jessie said. I could tell that Jessie was really timid, but Jessie didn't cry. She didn't even try to go back home. Now I changed my mind, and Jessie was brave. When we standed at the entrance to the mansion, I saw a big handle shaped like a lion's face. We have to knock on this, then Ghost will wake up and open the door, Monica said. Are you going to ask the ghost where Big Mouth is? I said. The door will be opened, but ghosts won't show up. They'll hide and watch us. And they'll think of a joke that would make our hearts drop, Monica said. Do they like Big Mouth eating an apple pie too? Said Jessie. Ghosts won't care Ghosts won't care who eats apple pies. They love the sound of eating apple pies, so they force others to eat it, Monica said. I'm worried that Ghosts will feed Big Mouth an apple pie. Big Mouth doesn't like apple pie, Jessie said. I thought I could eat 20 pieces if Ghosts fed me apple pies. I took courage and knocked on the door with the handle. Tung, 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 tung. If ghosts are taking a nap, they may not hear this sound. Tung, 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 tung. I knocked on the door again. Tung, tung, tung. A loud noise came from inside the door. Squeak! With sounds, the door started to open. I have goosebumps all over me. We took the courage. I know I can't do anything without courage. We walked to the middle of the living room. It was around 2 p.m., but the living room was dark. Black curtain, black table, black candlesticks, even the sofa was black. Monica left an apple pie in the middle of the living room floor. When a ghost shows up, this apple pie will be gone, Monica said. Monica picked up the rest of the apple pie. I held the flashlight. I put the hazelnut in my pocket. Jessie put the chocolate candy in her mouth. Monica put the apple pie in her mouth. It smelled like a sweet apple, but I held it in. Boom, boom. At this time, I heard something falling from the kitchen. The temptation of an apple pie must have been unbearable for even ghosts. We crept up to the kitchen. Whip! A black shadow passed us. We were all surprised, but we kept following the shadow. The shadow went upstairs. I'll go first, I said. I was quick to talk, but slow to act. I took courage, but my body lost courage. We walked quietly, but there was a noise from the old floor. Squeak! We passed the hallway and entered into the big open door. Big Mouth, cried Jessie. The room was messy. The chair and table were broken and fell down. But the bed was fine. There were a white dog and a dark chocolate-colored dog on the bed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 5 puppies. This was not a haunted house, but a big mouse hideout, I said. So cute, said Jessie. Jessie hugged each puppy. Monica and I raised the flashlight and looked around. I didn't see any ghosts. Only then we feel safe. The ghost must still be sleeping, Jessie said. If I sleep deeply, I can't even hear my dad snoring, I said. Then, boom, I heard a noise from down the hall, but an apple pie is too tempting for ghosts. We have to get out of here, Monica said. Hug 2 dogs at a time, said Jessie. We hurried downstairs and ran across the living room with Big Mouth and Dark Chocolate. The doors locked, Monica said. The apple pie is gone. The ghost must have woken up, Jessie said. Run to the back door, I yelled. We ran through the back door and left the mansion. The sun is overshadowed by the clouds. It was dark around me. It was windy, too. I looked back. A faint shadow was seen by the window on the first floor of the mansion. It's a ghost. There's a ghost, I screamed wildly. I ran and screamed like a goose. If the ghost follows us, I'm sure it will follow me first, because I have a lot of apple pies at home. The ghost family might want to live in my house together. As soon as we arrived at Monica's house, we ran into the house and I looked around. There's a big tree out there. I saw some cotton candy like Roxy under the tree. I can't see the ghost, said Jessie. Don't worry, ghosts don't leave the mansion easily, Monica said. Big Mouth and Dark Chocolate came to me. Big Mouth had a very long white fur. Dark Chocolate had soft, glossy black fur. I thought we could be good friends, and they were good parents of these puppies. What about these puppies, then? I said. 2 I was holding, 2 Jessie was holding, 2 Monica was holding. There were 6 in total. But weren't there 5? I said, yeah, there must have been 5, but why 6? Jessie said, we're all embarrassed. I hope this little one isn't a ghost, I said. He's too cute for a ghost, Jessie said. Monica opened her mouth to say something. She didn't say a word. And then she closed her mouth. Let's get this straight, I said. We saw 5 puppies in the mansion, didn't we? We took the puppy out of the house in a whirlwind. When we got to Monica's house, there are 6 puppies. Does this make sense? Did you bite the hazelnut? Monica asked me. I quickly put my hand in my pocket. I got a hazelnut in my hand. My mistake. I had to bite the nut before I left the mansion. I missed it, I said. We all got serious. A ghost doesn't like to bite hazelnuts. It sounds like a house falling apart, Monica said. Big Mouth, Dark Chocolate, and 6 puppies are going to stay at Jessie's house. Monica named the dark chocolate dog Chocolate Candy. Monica liked chocolate candy. Monica gave me and Jessie a hazelnut each. We decided to bite the hazelnut before going to bed this evening. Nothing was difficult. It's just a hassle to brush my teeth again. I said goodbye to Jessie and Monica. I said goodbye to Big Mouth and Chocolate Candy. I also said goodbye to 6 puppies. When I got home, Todd was still sleeping on my bed. Todd is silent. He sleeps a lot, but he never loses a staring contest. I lay down next to Todd. I have been waiting for the night to get deeper. When the world became a quiet night, I took out the hazelnut and bit it hard. Crunch. I didn't feel anything. Ghosts who like apple pies, they'll go back to their house. They'll think their house is falling apart. Didn't they steal all my apple pies?